My name is Aubrey Reynolds, and I'm a filmmaker. I'm in Cannes mostly just to feel it out for the years ahead, and I'm a writer and an actor. Started out mostly as an actor. I did theater for many years, but I've been a writer since I was little. Actually, fun fact, when I was a little baby, I always held my hands like this, and all the nurses thought, they told my mom, they were like, she's gonna be a writer. So birth.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I've always written kind of as a passion side project, dabbled here and there. I wrote my first screenplay probably when I was like 19. And just a few years ago, I'd been in the TV movie world for a long time, doing Lifetime and Hallmark style movies. And just a few years ago, a friend of mine kind of came to me and said, hey, together we've done like 30, 40 of these movies. I feel like we could write one. And we started reaching out to some development teams, and we got a picture deal last year, and we wrote a movie for Lifetime, and we actually both got to star in it, which was really cool. So many challenges. I would say something that I'm sure all writers will understand is notes were quite the challenge, because it was a pre-buy from Lifetime and our partner TF1. So we had 2 sets of notes, plus our development exec at Reel One. 3 sets of notes every turn. So once we got it from the development stage where we had to outline every single scene and tell them exactly what they would get, then we would get notes from that, and we finally got into script stage, we'd get notes from that. And sometimes they contradict each other. Like from the beginning, they're like, oh, we really don't think that we want a little boy to be killed on screen, so can you make him 16? And then 2 weeks later, they're like, I don't believe that a 16-year-old will set this off into motion, so what if you made him 6? And you're like, oh, what we had originally? Great. But you're like, ooh, good idea.
Yeah.
I love your idea. Let's do that. Yeah, great question. I think our direct connection, I like to call him our handler.
Sure.
Our development exec at Reel One was really helpful, and he could kind of pick and choose and tell us, you know, which money guy to listen to at which given moment, which was really helpful. And also sometimes he let us trust our gut and let us build what made sense for the character. And often when you make the choice that's right for the character, the money guy just listens and says, oh, you know what, that's what you did was right. And you're like, yeah. Something I was really excited about is I got to experience the world of ASL in a different film. And we had the idea of incorporating ASL in a Lifetime movie. And we thought it would be really cool to showcase a little bit of the deaf community. And our main character is an ASL interpreter. Initially, we actually wanted to have deaf actors in the movie, but they decided that they didn't want subtitles on screen. As you can see, I'm a little spicy about that one. But we adjust and we get to incorporate the community as best we can. We got to work with so many amazing, they're known in the industry as Dazzles, Director of American Sign Language. So we had 3 different amazing Dazzles that were on set or before set, and we got to incorporate as much as we could. Yeah, great question. I think each project is unto itself like different children. They're their own babies in the world. They have their own personalities, and you treat them differently. We were really lucky with the Lifetime movie to know from the beginning it was a Lifetime movie. So I went in knowing I would have to kill some babies and get rid of things that I loved, and also infuse it with its own personality, knowing that we'll end up on this very specific network. And that was a gift, because sometimes you have a project that gets bought and it has to morph and it changes from what you initially think it ought to be. So I was really grateful to have that experience. This new project I'm trying to get funding for, it is an indie comedy. It's a totally different world, and it's actually nearer to my heart. It has a lot of my soul in it, which is scary, of course, but it's just a different process. And we don't quite know where it's going to live and how you might have to morph it depending on who gives you money.
Yeah.
The screenplay is done.
Okay.
I have certain people attached. I have a producer attached, but no director, no cast. I've learned that it's cheesy, but leading with the heart is best. And people do want, we all love movies, right?
Yeah.
People do want to tell interesting stories. So when you lead with the heart and you don't caveat everything and you tell them exactly what you have to offer, I feel like people want to hear you out. They don't necessarily want to give you $1 million, but someone will.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, actually, the very first time I ever got into acting, I was in 7th grade, and I was always the girl in class who the teacher said talked too much. Always trying to make people laugh, trying to do a bit. And I remember I was doing a bit. I had my hair on top of my head, and I was doing the I Dream of Jeannie thing. And my teacher stopped class, and she said, "Aubrey, they're holding auditions for advanced theater right now. I need you to leave and go audition." And I was like, "Oh, I haven't finished my assignment." She was like, "I don't think you'll need it." She said, "Leave, go audition." And I picked up this piece of paper and instantly knew what it was. I loved creating since birth. I loved storytelling. I just memorized it and did the audition, and I guess the rest is history. I think that want, objective desire as an actor portraying a character is pivotal for when you're writing a character. It always comes down to your want, your objective, your truest desire, your hopes and dreams. And if those are solid for your character, I think that can carry you through your story. I think something that is really important that I've learned recently is just do it. I recently watched Robert Rodriguez has his school of filmmaking, the 10-minute thing on YouTube, about when he made his first film, and talks about how he refused to spend money. He just did it, and he had to be creative, and he had to because that was what he wanted and what his soul needed at the time. And I think I've recently been trying to inspire myself to just do it, just create, and not care if it's at a certain level, and not care if you have the money for it. If you have an interesting story and you have the possibility to create, which we all do, just try something. And also, I think no story is too small. I think sometimes we get in our heads that we have to have this really unique, interesting idea. They always say, "What's the hook?" And even if you think it's just kind of funny and you want to write it, write it. If you think it's kind of funny, I'm sure someone else will. The ISA table read was amazing from beginning to end. It was really fun to get to rehearse again. I haven't done rehearsal since I did theater over 10 years ago. I mean, I know I'm an infant, but it was really fun to rehearse and also cultivate this original story with Allegra and put honor to her words.
Sure.
And it was fun to be in a collaborative space that is almost the little baby of something that will become a big film one day. Oh, great. Paul is fantastic. He has such a great point of view, but he's also so empathetic to the actor. And he's had a million lifetimes. You know, he's been first AD and director and so many things, so he has empathy for every step of the way. And I think that point of view brings so many colors to things. I would say don't stop. And also keep evolving. Keep taking notes. Like sometimes when you least expect it, something will click and something will change and your story will become something new. And as writers, it's hard to let go of that original thought, but sometimes what it evolves to is even better.